massive, massive learning for me around focus. So you have your good days, you have your bad days, and you have your really, really shitty days. And I guess for me, as Naked Women's business spreads around the world, as the message spreads, and as we come into contact with so many awesome, awesome ladies, there's going to be times when, not everybody loves you, and you're not going to be able to, I guess, help and lead everybody and win all of the time. And I found that this week, I really choose to focus on the negative so much instead of focusing on the gold and, the super amazing experiences and connections and relationships that I build with some amazing, amazing ladies. So this is my message to you. Choose to focus on the gold. There's always going to be crap, but let it go. It's not resourceful. It's not resourceful in any way, and it's the old way of us reverting into our disbelief about ourselves, not being good enough, not thinking that enough people love us, they're not thinking that we can do the job. That's the old way. That's the unresourceful way. Instead, let's focus on the goal, on moving forward, on the stuff that's going to get us to where we want to get to really quickly.
Talking to all of those collectors out there, yes, you're a collector, I know you are. I'm not talking stamps or coins or Tupperware, although you probably do those things too. What I'm talking about is information collectors. This was spurred by the fact this week I was asked what my favourite business book was. So off I went to my shelf, my several shelves, and I stood there and I had a look and I thought, well, you know what, really? I don't think I've actually read half of these. More importantly, books aren't the only thing on there. So on my shelf is folders, files, facts, books, all sorts of things. And that doesn't include the stuff on my computer. So how many times have you been somewhere and downloaded someone's free ebook or 10-step guide or bought a new business book, all those sorts of things? I'm telling you, it's time to stop. No more. Apart from mine. Feel free to go and download mine. Beyond that, I
don't really know that I have any learnings this week, other than that you can't always control everything. And in fact, the more you try, the worse it bloody gets. I've had a week with huge ups and downs, and unfortunately my health has come back to bite me big time, and spending Saturday night at Port Macquarie Hospital is not my idea of fun, let me tell you. However, I have come through it not unscathed, realising that sometimes you do need to stop and take stock and not wallow in it, but actually take time to face what you're facing.
This week I'm going to talk about choice. As a nurse, a lot of what we do is involving other people and illness and processes and political issues, and we don't have a lot of choice at work. We actually have to go in, you get told when you're going to go to work, and you've got to do what you've got to do when you're there, and then you come home. So the choice is not always there. And what I've learnt is that as a mother of 5, that even though I want to have choice in terms of where I want to go with my business, you can't actually have choice every minute of every day.
My key learning this week has been to keep persisting. I have had quite a sore neck and back for the last week and a bit, and that on top of my children having gastro, my little brother got married. I've had a whole heap of different things happen in the last week or so, and it's taken me out of my business a little more than what I would like. But what that has meant is that I've really absolutely made the most of the time that I've had available. And what for me that means is that it comes back to that silly thing, that cliche, that trusting in the process, and it truly is amazing.
As you start making decisions, they're not going to be very accurate. But what you do is, as you make them, you realise that you're off track, so you will go and make another decision that will move you closer to your destination. So you will correct yourself. And as you can see, as you move along this continuum, you can see that the decisions are becoming more and more accurate. You can see here that the decisions right at the end are becoming more and more accurate as you go along this course. So I've also noticed that as I've made more and more decisions, that I've become more certain of myself and are now taking greater risks as well. So the question that you want to be asking yourself this week is, what decisions are going to move you closer to your outcome?
For me this week, that has been my key learning, that, you know, I've had to change things again in my business. I'm choosing to change them because of what I've learned as a consequence of taking those steps forward. So in taking the steps forward, I now understand I need to take a step back, and taking that step back, going back to the place where I was a while ago, is not so uncomfortable now that I realise that, in fact, being in that same place, I am a different person in that same place. You go back to the place, you don't go back to the time.
Found really interesting that I learnt from Amber this week was that a statistical measurable number is 500. So, for example, before you can conclude that, for example, your sales script is not working, the statistical measurable number is 500. So after you've done your 500, you can go back and have a look and go, okay, what is working and what isn't. So I found that really interesting, and I thought that you might find it interesting also and could apply it in other situations.